Today we're talking about some recent Tesla news, including our first images of the future structural battery pack, new video of Tesla's battery production, as well as one particular developing story about a possible Model 3 explosion in China. We'll get into the details of that explosion, what we're hearing about it, and what it means, so let's get into it. First up today, we got a few bits of updated info and examples of what Tesla spoke about at Battery Day in practice. At Tesla's Battery Day, they talked about the process of a battery cell factory and how this contributes to overall cost. If they can integrate better technologies there, they can help reduce the cost of batteries, reducing cost of future cars, and leading to their $25,000 Tesla. They cited inspiration for their cell factories as coming from newspaper printing factories, bottling factories, and more. Well, Tesla's social media presence has been pretty lacking for the past year or so, but this week they seem to have hired someone to help out or something, and we're getting a lot more posts and helpful videos showcasing Tesla's products. First, we saw a photo of the 7-seater Model Y, which was the first photo Tesla had ever shown of what the third row seats actually looked like in this car. They followed that up with a video showcasing their battery cell production lines coming to their future factories, saying, quote, "Come work on cell/battery production at Giga Texas and Giga Berlin," with a link to battery jobs. Here we can see some great new footage of what it looks like producing their new 4680 battery cells for their future cars, further showcasing the production line's inspiration and the large size of these new cells. Another aspect of battery production we heard about on Tesla's Battery Day was cell vehicle integration. Tesla spoke about how an early aircraft wing included the structure of the wing with an internal structure to hold fuel. Modern aircraft have been developed to eliminate the secondary storage, meaning that the wing is the storage itself, and there is no wasted space, weight, or unnecessary materials in between there. A current Tesla battery pack uses the old aircraft style with lots of excess storage holding the battery pack together. The individual cells are combined into modules, which they then put in to form a battery pack. That battery pack is then attached to the vehicle body. In the future, Tesla will make the structure of the car itself the storage for the battery. This will allow the car to have a 10% mass reduction, an opportunity for a 14% range increase, and 370 fewer parts. Electrek just posted the first photo we've seen of these new structural battery packs for Tesla's future cars. Most likely, this is the design for the Model Y that will be built at Giga Berlin later this year. This photo has no cells inside, but obviously those holes are where we would see the 4680 cells. The design is a honeycomb structure, which is well known for being very strong and lightweight at the same time. If you zoom into the outsides of this blurry photo, you can see that Tesla has built coolant loops around the outside of the structure. So this new structure would improve efficiency, simplify the production process of the battery pack, and contribute to the structure of the vehicle itself. On top of this, Tesla says that it reduces the investment per gigawatt hour by 55% and reduces floor space by 35%, allowing the battery cells to actually come closer to the center of the car, being further away from an impact in a crash.
Because they're closer to the center, it reduces the probability of a side impact potentially contacting the cells, because it has to go, any kind of side impact has to go further in order to reach the cells.
The honeycomb design contributes to a better structure and safer impact, according to Elon, saying,
So you want to transfer load into the structural battery pack in a very smooth, continuous way, so you don't put arbitrary point loads into the battery.
The only downside to this type of integration is repair difficulty. We see this with modern smartphones, where if you need a battery swap, Apple or Samsung will most likely only be able to give you an entirely new phone, and with a car, that's a huge replacement cost if the battery were to fail. However, even in a Tesla Model 3 built with these battery modules, Tesla doesn't really plan to need to do battery replacements, but Elon Musk has talked about them on Twitter, saying that they should last 300 to 500,000 miles, and that replacing modules will cost $5,000 to $7,000. Most likely, this new structural cell architecture would make repairs or replacements much more complicated in the event of a battery issue or an accident. However, since this is only our first image, we haven't heard if this truly makes it less repairable or not. One particular reason that this new structure would be helpful is in the case of an accident. Not only could this help the structure of the car, but as Elon mentioned, it enables the cells to move further to the center of the car and potentially could protect those cells more than before. This comes up particularly in the case of an accident and a fire resulting from battery damage after the accident. Tesla and fires have a rough and sensitive history, particularly because people tend to think that having a battery for your car is more dangerous than a normal engine, even though the data does not support this. The NHTSA has looked into Tesla and other electric vehicle companies before after issues with fire risk. There were a few incidents of Model S fires, which Tesla reportedly addressed with software changes on older models, Chevy Bolt fires, which GM said happened when charged to full or close to capacity, and Audi recalls for the e-tron for potential fire risk due to a wiring harness issue. According to Tesla, their cars are 10 times less likely to catch fire than gasoline vehicles, citing 5 fires per billion miles traveled in Teslas versus 55 fires per billion miles traveled in gasoline cars in the US. Elon Musk tweeted about this a few times in 2019 saying, quote, over 1 million combustion engine, it's right there in the name, car fires per year, and thousands of deaths. But one Tesla car fire with no injuries gets biggest headlines. Why the double standard? This is a real question. He followed that up with, quote, reality is a Tesla, like most electric cars, is over 500% less likely to catch fire than combustion engine cars, which carry massive amounts of highly flammable fuel. Why is this never mentioned? Here he is most likely referring to the Model S fire that took place in Shanghai in 2019. At the time, there were about 14 to 20 instances of Tesla fires since the Model S first launched, and most of them occurred after an accident, meaning that a spontaneous fire is very rare. In the case of this Shanghai Model S fire, it was spontaneous, and Tesla said, quote, through extensive investigations into batteries, software, manufacturing data, and vehicle historical data, we found no system deficiencies and initially determined that the individual incident was caused by a single battery module failure at the front of the vehicle. The Model 3 has had next to no fire cases since it launched, besides one in Russia that occurred after a collision. Luckily, no lives were lost. However, just this week, a Model 3 explosion was reported in Shanghai. Most likely this is an extremely rare case, but let's look into it. The Tesla Model 3 explosion was first reported on Weibo. Reportedly, a woman was driving into an underground parking structure, her car caught fire, she left the car in the middle of the parking structure, went to get help, and then the car exploded. This was the first photo circulating for a while, and you can clearly see that there was an explosion of a Model 3. We just don't entirely know the cause at this point. Others posted more detailed photos later, and again, luckily nobody was injured, but we can see that this Model 3 was brutally damaged. The doors and roofs are completely pulverized, and the trunk seems to have been blown up and extended higher than normal, probably as a result of the explosion and ensuing fire. At this point, all we know is that a Model 3 exploded. There is no question based on the damage that it exploded and wasn't simply set on fire. However, the root cause of the explosion is unknown. In the next few days, we will surely see lots of articles arguing both sides and putting up headlines about Tesla battery fires, but I'm sure we'll see the debate on the other side as well, arguing for how safe Teslas are, at least until this investigation occurs. Well, it appears this is actually still developing as I'm posting this video, so it looks like Tesla did respond, and they said, based on the driver's statement and an examination of the auto, preliminary findings point to the undercarriage hitting something and damaging the battery. So this would put it in line with the rest of the fires we've seen that happened after an accident or some kind of damage to the underside of the car. A fire like this does make the idea of a structural battery pack that's stronger than before sound appealing, because maybe whatever struck the underside of the car wouldn't have actually got through to the cells and damaged the pack, causing the fire. Definitely good news that it was not spontaneous, but I'll be sure to keep you posted on the rest of this investigation. So you can follow me on Twitter at RyanShawTech for more updates about that. Battery fires are different compared to normal car fires, but according to experts quoted in this Business Insider article that tends to put Tesla at fault, quote, electric vehicles catch fire at slightly lower rates than cars with internal combustion engines. One of the biggest issues with a battery fire is lack of knowledge when it comes to putting out the fire. You can't use the normal foam or dry chemicals. You simply have to use 500 to 8,000 gallons of water and patience. They take longer to put out and could be reignited even after it appears to be under control. So it seems that most of these fires happen in similar circumstances to those that cause internal combustion engine fires. Quote, many of these Tesla fires seem to be caused by the electric vehicle's battery suffering some kind of trauma, sometimes by crashing at high speeds. Other than that, quote, there are really only a few reasons why a lithium-ion battery catches on fire. Liquid, dead short, or for every one battery cell in a billion, spontaneous combustion. So long term, I don't see this affecting Tesla much, but I'm sure everyone will be hearing about it soon since this car was pretty destroyed as a result of this fire. Teslas definitely can catch fire, but they do so less frequently than gasoline vehicles. If you want to see my full video about Tesla safety, you can click up here or in the description below. Moving on, Tesla is officially looking to hire someone to handle customer complaints on Twitter. The position officially calls for a customer support specialist to, quote, resolve or escalate complaints through appropriate channels and address social media escalations directed at the CEO with critical thinking. As you probably know by now, Elon actively uses Twitter, and he periodically responds to customer complaints and questions. This has led to every single thing Elon tweets receiving a slew of replies completely unrelated to his tweet, asking questions about Tesla service, products, future products, and issues. For example, a game developer had been tweeting at Elon for a while and committed to sending him a tweet every day for 365 days. 154 days in, Elon responded. The game developer was seeking permission to develop a game inspired by SpaceX, saying, quote, Dear Elon, I am a game developer and I am making a game about colonizing Mars with you and SpaceX in it. If you think it's cool, all I need is the go-ahead to use your name and logos. I will post this every day for a year or until I get a yes or no, 154 out of 365. Elon's response after 154 tries was, quote, you can steal our name/logos and we probably won't sue you. This is a recent example of people tweeting at Elon but isn't related to Tesla. One of the most frequent replies we see with Elon's tweets has to do with full self-driving. Currently, if you buy a Tesla and buy full self-driving for $10,000, that $10,000 software purchase, which turns on at the click of a button by Tesla, stays with the car. If you want to upgrade to a new Tesla, you can't transfer full self-driving to the new car. You have to buy that $10,000 package again. Now, this might make sense if that $10,000 was valued in the sale of the vehicle, but most sales of Teslas, along with trade-in amounts, do not consider full self-driving to be a part of the car's value. Tesla actually had issues with this in 2020 when they took full self-driving off of a resold Model S. The customer bought the Model S knowing the option was included, and Tesla removed the option because, quote, it was found that the customer did not purchase the software. Technically, this customer didn't buy the software direct from Tesla, but if Tesla locks full self-driving to the car itself, then obviously it should go to the customer buying that car. This caused a whole big controversy and tons of headlines and articles, and Tesla ended up making it right in this case. And now they hold firm that the only thing that doesn't transfer with a change of ownership is prepaid access to Tesla's supercharger network. So if you sell your Tesla with full self-driving, the person who buys it gets full self-driving, and that's how it should be. However, even Tesla doesn't value the full self-driving package when evaluating a trade-in, and someone took this up with Elon on Twitter and he responded. They said, quote, I paid full self-driving for my Model 3 in November. Now I want to upgrade to Model Y, and your team tells me you don't value full self-driving in your trade-in offer because you can do the software upgrade for free. Want me to pay again full price for FSD again? That's not fair, change that. To which Elon responded, quote, looking into this, no question that FSD should be viewed as reasonably valuable when doing a trade-in. I do understand why this is an odd choice for Tesla. It's a $10,000 piece of software, and is probably one of the most expensive pieces of software that a consumer would ever buy. But on Tesla's end, there is no value to the fact that a car is traded in with full self-driving. They can simply remove it and then add full self-driving to the car once a new owner buys it at no charge to them. However, since this upgrade is so expensive, it's causing many people to not want to upgrade their cars that they might have planned to because they don't want to pay an extra $10,000 for full self-driving, which they had on their previous car. On top of that, this full self-driving feature hasn't actually been achieved yet. Full self-driving is not here yet. Based on Elon's tweets, the main options for Tesla are to actually value a car traded in with full self-driving as higher than one without, or to allow customers to transfer full self-driving to a new car. The latter would be the most popular option by far and could make a lot of sense going forward. Of course, allowing a full self-driving transfer prevents customers from buying it again on their new Tesla, but I imagine the return would be overall better on Tesla's end with new customers actually deciding to upgrade their car, which is far more expensive than $10,000, and transfer their full self-driving purchase. We'll see what they do, and I really hope they allow a transfer or perhaps a certain number of transfers, but no matter what they do, there will be a group of customers mad. Those who have already bought it twice will be mad that they now have this option, and Tesla will have to maybe go do refunds or maybe not. It's always some kind of a mess when they're dealing with this full self-driving package. So questions like this are seen frequently in Elon's tweets, so that is likely why Tesla is looking to hire someone. They can actually read through and see these responses and see if they hold any merit, while Elon doesn't have to worry about responding to a select few like he seems to do now. Hopefully Elon keeps tweeting like this though, because he tends to give us some more Tesla information from time to time, and it keeps us excited about future products. And I'll be sure to keep you posted on this channel about everything Tesla. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe to this channel, make sure to like this video if you appreciated it. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanShawTech. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.